Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Nicole, Russo. Welcome to Spa Babies, presented by Stone Street. And our Spa Baby race for Saturday should be sensational. Let's throw up the field for race number 7. It's a maiden special weight for 2-year-olds going 6.5 furlongs. Strong pedigrees, strong connections, strong Stone Street connections, because you see the stallion Curlin dotted among the pedigrees of many of these horses in the race. And Curlin, of course, was a stalwart Stone Street runner.
Yeah, and in addition to older horses who have won major races at Saratoga, like Curlin, like Rachel Alexandra, both winners of the Woodward, Stone Street has unveiled some top 2-year-olds at Saratoga over the years, like champions My Miss Aurelia and Good Magic. And when you think of a Saratoga maiden race, that's what you think of, is the race that could produce a champion from amongst well-bred, well-regarded youngsters from top programs. And that's exactly what we have here for our Saturday Spa Baby race. A lot of well-bred horses who I'm looking forward to seeing get their careers started.
We'll take a look at the second page on our entry card and see horses trained by Mott and Asmussen, both expensive purchases that should show a lot of promise. But we'll kick off our analysis with the first half of the coupled entry. That is Invictus. The 1A and Caged isn't also eligible. And what a way to start out. A $1.2 million yearling by Super Stallion Into Mischief. The first foal out of the Great Serengeti Empress, a multiple Grade 1 stakes winner on dirt. You see the asterisk next to the second column. That means she won her career debut. Tremendous pedigree.
Yeah, when you say breed the best to the best and hope for the best, this is really what you're talking about. Into Mischief, 5-time reigning leading sire, bred to Kentucky Oaks winner Serengeti Empress. Really interesting blend of speed and precocity, but also stamina and class in the pedigree. Into Mischief can get you a champion sprinter or a classic winner. He, of course, a Grade 1 winner at 2, a good sire of 2-year-olds, but also a good sire of 3-year-olds, of older horses. Serengeti Empress, a debut winner herself, won the Kentucky Oaks, but was also a Grade 1 performer around one turn as well.
Plenty of workouts since late April, including many of the 5-furlong variety. He should be fit, and he's going out for one of the best with first-time starters. Here's a formulator fact for trainer Brad Cox, who recently scored with a 10-to-1 debut runner at Saratoga named Immersive. If you look at the past 2 years, Cox with 2-year-old first-time starters, maiden special weight dirt sprints at Saratoga, 31%, almost a $4 return on investment. So you've got the pedigree, you've got the consistent workout since April with foundation, and you've got the trainer stat. Lots to like, ticks a lot of boxes. The 1A is entered also eligible. He's going to need a scratch to perform, so we'll move to the 2. Breaking from the inside post, this is T. Craft, and T. Craft has a strong pedigree. He is a grandson of Curlin by Connect. He is a half to a Grade 3 stakes winning sprinter, the very fleet straight no chaser who was a debut winner, a half to a juvenile stakes winning turf miler that was a debut winner, and the damn one sprinting on the turf. He made his career debut at Aqueduct, and he faced Mentee, Fierceness's brother, who just blitzed the field. I think this guy's going to do a lot better.
Absolutely. And sixth in that debut behind not only Mentee, but Colloquial, who ran very well. Neither of them have gotten to run back yet with little issues, but T Craft gets a chance to flatter that race. He should be tighter this time. And he's coming off a bullet work at Saratoga for Bill Mott. I love when young horses come out of their debut and start working very strongly, even more strongly than before. It shows to me, I think, that that light bulb is going on, that they're getting a little competitive, that they're learning what this game is about.
Junior Alvarado takes the mount for T. Craft. We'll move to the 3, American Promise. This is a first-time starter trained by the legendary Wayne Lucas, a son of Triple Crown winner Justify and a half-brother to Hoosier Philly, a debut winner that was a 2-year-old Grade 2 stakes winner, and the bee's knees as a 2-year-old filly. This one sold for $750,000. I usually like Wayne's second-time starters better than his debut runners, but this one's workout seemed to show a little bit of promise.
Yeah, I think that's a really good analysis. Wayne Lucas is never afraid to run these young horses fit rather than continuing to just breeze them on their own, believes they get a lot out of that racing experience. That being said, this one is bred for 2-year-old success. You mentioned Hoosier Philly, who was very good as a 2-year-old. Justify was just on fire with his 2-year-olds last year, really showing that precocity from the Scat Daddy sire line. And Justify has just given you a little bit of everything as a sire. He can sire greater Group 1 winners going 1 turn on dirt or going 2 turns on the turf. Just an incredible start to his stallion career, and this now his 3rd crop of 2-year-olds.
And this dam's also a half to a grade 2 place dirt router named Uleli. We've already had horses trained by Cox, Mott, and Lucas. Let's go to a Chad Brown first-time starter, the 4 Chancer McPatrick, a very expensive 2-year-old in training purchase, and why not when you breeze a quarter mile in 21 seconds at the sale by first crop sire McKinsey. This second dam was a juvenile grade 1 stakes winner around 2 turns, albeit on a synthetic surface. Let's talk a little bit more about the McKinseys.
Yeah, the McKinseys sold really well last year, his first yearlings. They were just racy, lovely, covered a lot of ground when they walked. He was a graded performer himself at 2, but then went on to be a graded performer around both 1 and 2 turns as an older horse, winning races like the Whitney right here at Saratoga. Crossing McKinsey over a Bernardini mare makes me think that this one will want a little bit more ground. And Chad Brown, talking to our colleague David Grunning this week in Saratoga, he said the approach with his 2-year-olds this meet has been for them to come out, give a good account of themselves for debut. If they win, it's okay, but he's not trying to fully crank them. That sort of makes me think, that some of his runners, including Chancer McPatrick, I'm looking forward to seeing them with a little bit more ground once they have the experience under their belts.
A 2-year-old that might be lurking under the radar is up next. The 5 Fiddling Felix going out for Whit Beckman. Frankie Dettori takes them out. He's a half to a stakes place dirt sprinter. The dam was a sprinter. The dam's a half to Cool Cowboy, who is a pretty sharp sprinter and miler, especially over in Dubai. And Fiddling Felix has experience. At Churchill Downs in his debut, he didn't break well after taking some money, took some dirt in his face, and then finished evenly in a race that produced 3 next out winners, one of them returning to graduate at Ellis with a 78 buyer. Fiddling Felix can take a step forward off that debut.
Absolutely. A really good educational debut. You talked about him getting dirt in his face, kind of finishing willingly. Whit Beckman, I think, is the sort of trainer early on in his career out on his own. I think he's going to be willing to let horses kind of develop a little bit like this. And just 2 horses in the main body of this field with prior racing experience, that being T Craft, who earned a 55 in that debut in a very good race, while Fiddling Felix earned a 53 in what you point out has already been a key race.
Fiddling Felix will get blinkers for the first time. And friends, we always ask you to please keep in mind and check out Mike Welsh and his team's Clocker reports. He'll give extensive analysis on these workouts. And it looked like to me in watching the tape of the last work for Fiddling Felix, he wore blinkers and Beckman put him in company with Honor Marie, a pretty good 3-year-old, and Fiddling Felix seemed to hold his own. So maybe he's a little bit better than he looks on paper. The 6 is Noble Confessor. He goes out for Todd Pletcher, and this is a son of Quality Road, a 14% with juvenile debut runners. There is a lot of turf in this pedigree, however, but it's interesting that Todd's going to run them first out on dirt, and Arad Ortiz takes them out.
Yeah, that was what struck me, was looking at this pedigree. Quality Road, a very versatile sire, and a lot of turf in that female family. But this horse has strong dirt works, and Todd Pletcher certainly knows how to place his 2-year-olds at Saratoga with all of the options available. So I'll be interesting to see what Noble Confessor can do on the dirt, or if they're just kind of preparing him for something down the road.
Speaking of turf pedigree, our next entrant, the number 7 Restore, was bred in France. He's by the versatile stallion Uncle Mo, and he sold for $150,000 after breezing a furlong in 10-1. But look at those big names on the bottom of this female family. The dam's a half to Peeping Fawn, just an exceptional European Group 1 stakes winner. The Way You Are was a juvenile Group 1 stakes winner going a mile in France. This one does have consistent workouts since late April. It's just a lot of turf in this pedigree as well.
Well, that's interesting because we talk all the time about hidden turf pedigrees. I think this is almost a hidden dirt
Ah,
pedigree. You talk about Peeping Fawn right there in the family, but Peeping Fawn's immediate family is also that of Better Than Honor, who, of course, produced
mm.
a pair of Belmont Stakes winners. And then you've got Uncle Mo, who is so versatile, but also a classic sire on the top. The concern with me with this one is not so much the surface, but the distance. This pedigree screams two turns to me. That being said, Dallas Stewart sometimes can round out your exotics at a price if this one comes running a little late.
Sherman Fury is the number 8. This is a son of Gunrunner, the first foal out of a dirt winner by Stone Street's Curlin, a
Mhm.
$100,000 March 2-year-old. After breezing a furlong in 10 and 3, Gunrunner does very well with 2-year-old first-time starters clicking at 19%. The dams a half to Dearest Trixie, who was a Grade 1 stakes winner sprinting. I think she won the La Brea over the synthetic surface in Santa Anita, and she was a debut winner as well.
Yeah, and Gunrunner, as you mentioned, so good with his 2-year-olds. He's had Grade 1 winning 2-year-olds right here at Saratoga around one turn, was the leading freshman sire with a record-setting season a couple of years ago. And Sherman Fury up from Florida and seems to like it here as they're getting him tight for this debut. Those works really picked up when he came north.
Luis Saez picks up the mount for Jose D'Angelo. The 9 is Tarram. Jose Ortiz aboard for trainer Bill Mott. This is a global campaign 2-year-old. It sold for $650,000 in April after breezing a furlong in 10. And you see the sprint and precocity in this family. The dam are full to several good sprinters. Both of the horses you see debut winners. She was a turf winner, but she's foaled 3 winners from 4 runners.
Mhm. And I like all the speed and precocity that you mentioned on the bottom side of this family to balance out Global Campaign, who is off the mark with some early winners, but was better as an older horse. That being said, he is really bred to be a stallion. He's by Curlin, whose sons at stud already include the likes of young classic sires Good Magic and Keen Ice. Global Campaign, a half brother to Bolt Doro, who was the leading freshman sire 2 years ago.
Tis Tastic is the final horse in the body of the field. The number 10 is by Tis the Law and is a half brother to a stakes winning sprinter named Interpolate, a $335,000 yearling. There's a lot of turf and synthetic on the bottom of this family, but there's also a little bit of speed. It'll be interesting to see how the Tis the Laws do it too.
Yeah, and he's another one where he's, off the mark with some winners, but I'm really still waiting for them kind of to light up. He was a Grade 1 winning juvenile himself, winning the Champagne, going the one turn mile at Belmont. But then he really shone at longer distances as a 3-year-old, winning the Belmont Stakes, which, yes, was pandemic shortened that year to a mile and an eighth, but also winning the Traverse at a mile and a quarter, running a very good second in the Kentucky Derby at a mile and a quarter.
And if Uncaged gets into the race, he would break from the far outside, but he's a son of the great Curlin, a $450,000 yearling for Pletcher. Let's take a look at our top picks for Saturday's Spa Baby race. It does kick off the pick 6. To me, it's a spread race. I like where you're going with Invictus. Again, as I said, he ticks a lot of boxes.
Yeah, and this is such a good race. I really feel like we're going to be hearing from some of these horses in the future. As we said at the top of the show, kind of a classic Saratoga maiden special weight. I ultimately, given so many options, just went with the horse who kind of excited me the most. As I said, Invictus is a case of breed the best to the best and hope for the best. And there's a lot of class in this family.
I will be focusing on my top 3 picks in multiple race wagers, the 2 experienced runners, T Craft and Fiddling Felix, and maybe just a price, a little bit of a stab with the 3 American Promise going out for Wayne Lucas, as son of Triple Crown winner Justify. What a race. I won't be surprised if we have a hopeful entrant or two coming out of this one. 1, 3, 6, and 8 for Nicole, 3, 5, 2, 6 for me. It's Saturday Spa Babies, presented by Stone Street.